So I'm here with my yoke today, and I want to welcome you back to your go-to source for the Shaw Classic updates for each of the competitors. Ciao, homie! Welcome to My Block Strongest Man, where we bring attention to the world of strongman and show you how you can mimic those activities using everyday objects all around your own property. If you haven't done so yet, consider subscribing and remember to hit that bell button for all notifications so you'll know whenever I provide all the valuable content every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So without further ado, on to today's topic. So welcome back to My Block Strongest Man, where I bring to you all of the latest updates for all the competitors for the Shaw Classic, the inaugural Shaw Classic 2020, happening on December 12th. So I wanted to discuss Alexei Novikov today, but he doesn't have any updates after World's Strongest Man on his Instagram, so I decided to move into the host himself, Brian Shaw, and what he's up to. So Brian Shaw has posted just one photo from World's Strongest Man, which is this one, the Farmer's Carry. And it's interesting because some of the other guys have posted video clips or more photos than this, and I'm not sure how much World's Strongest Man is okay with them sharing at this point, given it's going to be televised later in December. So maybe Brian's trying to kind of play it cool here and not divulge too much, which I respect, right? So this is the Farmer's Carry, and this post, by the way, is all about gratitude, where he's thanking everybody for all their support and all of the lessons he's learned along the way about winning, losing, and kind of just enjoying the process no matter what happens, which I think is very profound and a perspective that you only gain with his level of experience. So what I wanted to talk about now is kind of like what happened at World's Strongest Man. How did he do? And if you need information about that kind of thing, go to My Block Strongest Man. I had a ton of videos throughout World's Strongest Man competition that it broke down and explained all of these analytics. And so if we look at this one, which was the day one results, complete day one results, we can see real quick, Brian did, pretty well in the farmer's walk, which was 331 pounds per hand for max distance. And then he did relatively well in the deadlift as well, but he had that now famous pact with Terry Hollins about finishing similarly to each other, which we don't have to revisit again. And so then if we move into day two, which I have on this video, the finalist revealed, and that's because it was day two, you can see that on the loading medley, Brian did not so great. It took, his time was longer than the best performers by quite a bit. And then he had the dumbbell clean and press, which is a showcase event for Brian Shaw. As you can see on his Instagram, it's his profile picture. He's very well known for dumbbell clean and press. You can see it right here. And he's always going to do well in that event. Atlas, stones, keg toss, those are things that, don't really deviate too much for him. So that's how he did in World's Strongest Man to make it to the finals. And then kind of in the finals, as we all know, he ended up coming in fifth. A great placing for anyone else, a little bit disappointing for him in some people's minds because, he's expected to podium every time now because he's set such a high standard for himself, but it's a little bit unfair. I mean, people's primes aren't forever, unless you're Floyd Mayweather, but, fifth place is fine. And how did that break down? So the loading medley, I think, hurt him a lot. He had 4 points in that loading medley. And it'll be interesting to see, when we see the full video, what happened there. Did very well in keg toss as expected, 8 points there. 4 points for the log ladder, so not so great there. Deadlift, kind of middle of the packish points, 5.5. Hercules hold. Another surprise because he had purchased and practiced on that apparatus quite a bit, and only 5 points there. And then he comes back really strong with the Atlas stones at the end, showing that never give up attitude that Brian Shaw always brings to competition. So that's how he did in the World's Strongest Man. Now the lead up to the Shaw Classic, which again, he's hosting. He's footing the bill for everybody's travel to get there. He teamed up with Trifecta to foot the bill for all their food. It's going to be such a great event where it's seeming so far like all the guys are being treated better than they are at a lot of other international events. And I think it'll be pretty well organized as well, and we won't say any more than that about what the organization efforts that other organizations do. So going back to his Instagram, what has Brian Shaw been doing to train for the Shaw Classic? He's been dressing up like Santa. Nothing wrong with that, right? Like, Brian wants to decompress after World's Strongest Man. Again, here was his farmer's carry, and then he's been focusing his efforts on just being happy with the result as it was. His training was great. He finished where he finished. He had more people below him than above him, right? So it's not so bad. He's focusing on starting up his own supplement company, which I'm sure will be of an impeccable quality, and then spending time with the kids, which is great. You know, holiday time, the kids are going to remember this forever, right? And then he's doing his kind of holiday decorating, and then moving on to dressing up like Santa Claus and having grown adults, his training partner actually, come sit on his lap and tell Santa what they want for Christmas. So I like the humor aspect. I try to do humor on my own channel, and you got to interject that every once in a while. Then of course he's doing a little bit more insight into the products and businesses that he has, and this, I guess, is his inventory for Shaw Strength, like the different apparel, and he's kind of doing this little skit about Santa picking out products for those who were good, right? And so that's kind of what Brian's been up to in terms of his Instagram posting recently. How does that help him prepare for the Shaw Classic? It doesn't, but does this mean that he's not training? Of course it doesn't mean he's not training. In fact, he and his wife Carrie did a live stream on YouTube a couple of days ago where he mentioned that he started recording right after coming out of a training session. So how hard is he training? I don't know. But let's go back to my predictions for the Shaw Classic that I made a couple days ago. And if you haven't yet, you should go watch that video. It's getting a lot of attention. I've done a lot of attention to detail and great analytics in that video. So you should definitely check it out and let me know in the comments if you disagree and think I'm out of my mind. Like, definitely want to hear from all of you. So here's what I said in that video. I said Alexei Novikov would win again, like he just did in World's Strongest Man. I did all of the analysis based on what these events are compared to the ones he just won with in World's Strongest Man. And, his finishes are a little bit different than they were there because the events are a little bit different, but I think the final result is the same. He wins by a comfortable margin, first place. And I have Jerry Pritchett, who placed fourth at World's Strongest Man because of this set of events, coming in second. And then I have Brian, the host of the competition himself, coming in third overall, is what I mentioned. So the question becomes, has anything I've seen on his recent post changed my mind here? Of course it hasn't. Like, I have no evidence. I can't say he's not training, and I can't say what specific things he is training because I don't have any evidence one way or another. So I can't change my point of view. I have to wait a few days, wait a week to see if he posts anything about the training that he's doing and see if that changes my position. But as of right now, I have Brian finishing third. I don't think that has this win in the bag because it's in his home gym and at his elevation, nor do I think he's going to do terrible because he just doesn't care anymore because it's the holidays and World's Strongest Man didn't necessarily go the way he wanted it to. So, I'm going with how I think he will do in these particular events, given how well he did in similar events as recently as we can find possible, which is World's Strongest Man. So I have him getting 5 points in the log press. Again, he didn't do well in that one in World's Strongest Man. Super Yoke, which is usually his event, he didn't do well in World's Strongest Man, but that was a medley. So I might change my mind and bump him up a little bit here from the 4 points. Farmers, I gave him 4 as well. Same, he didn't do well in World's Strongest Man in this. Deadlift, I had to put him below Terry Hollins because Terry, from what I saw, looked like he had more in the tank and stopped at the 6 reps because of the agreement they had. Now, to be fair, I didn't see a clip of Brian, so maybe he had more in the tank too. I don't know. But as of right now, 4 points. Circus Dumbbell, I think he's going to win because that's his event. And Atlas, I think he's going to win because Tom Stoltman is not here. And so Brian is the second best Atlas stone lifter in the world right now, and he will win that event. So you kind of see these low placings in these events and think, well, how in the hell do you have him third? It's because I have him winning 2 events. And so he kind of comes back there just enough to edge out JF Caron by 1 point. So we'll see if that's the way things play out. And as Brian puts up more posts on how he's progressing with his training, I'll come back here and give you some more insight. So thanks again for joining me. And remember, anytime you want updates on any of the world's strongest men and how their preparation's going for the Shaw Classic, every day between now and the Shaw Classic, check back in with My Block Strongest Man, and I will have new information for you. I'll see you next time. So if you like this video and want to learn more about any of the products I described during this video, make sure to check out the links in the description below. So if you like this video and haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing using that button right there. And also stay tuned for some other videos that you might love blooping up right there. This one is the one that YouTube thinks that you will like the best, and this one is the one that I think you will like the best. As always, share this with everyone, and until next time, ciao, homie.